If you are given a graph in slope-intercept form, this is how you would graph it. There are a couple different ways. But first, let's understand what slope-intercept form means. When it is in slope-intercept form, it is in the form of y equals mx plus b, where x and y are your unknowns, or your variables. The number in front of the x is considered the slope of the line. And the b, or the other number, is considered the y-intercept, or where it crosses the y-axis on the graph. Now in the situation of this equation, we have y equals negative 3x plus 6. The x and y are our unknowns. Negative 3 tells us the slope of the line. It tells us the steepness. If we want to think about it, it is the same as negative 3 over 1, meaning it rises, or in this case falls, 3 spots, runs 1. The 6 tells me it crosses the y-axis at the point 0, 6. I can use this information to automatically graph it. So I will have a rough sketch of an idea of a graph. Again, I can get one point starting where it crosses my y-axis at 0, 6. From there, I can use my slope to help me find a second point that it takes to graph an equation or graph a line. So this says negative 3 over 1. So I'm going to fall 3. So I'm going to go 1 from this point, 1, 2, 3, and run 1. Using my straight edge or a rough hand sketch, I can get my graphing of my line. I will always want to use a straight edge or a ruler to draw my lines if I had a perfect graph. Now, if you're not wanting to use this form, you also have the option of using an XY chart. We can put values in for either x and y and solve for them. So if I put, for example, a 0 in for x, I can go negative 3, y equals negative 3 times 0 plus 6. So I'm just solving for my unknown, which is y. So negative 3 times 0 is 0 plus 6. So my y ends up being 6. Again, that is where my y-intercept is. I can go and start trying other numbers. I can either put a value in for x or a value in for y. But when I have my slope and I can use my graph, I can just find my other point that way. But again, you may put other points here, but you don't need to because you know your slope.